So where are you from?
So I live in Massachusetts. I don't know if you know much about New England, but do you know Framingham, Massachusetts at all?
No, I'm not familiar.
I
Mm.
live pretty close to Boston.
Got it. Okay. I haven't been to Boston, but I've heard it's nice.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's expensive.
So that Italian last name, where's your family from in Italy? Do you know?
Palermo, Sicily,
Oh
and
Wow.
yeah,
I also have family up by Napoli as well.
awesome. Yeah, we do too. Actually, our last name is from Napoli area, but yeah, the olive oil comes from the Palermo area. So
That's perfect.
you're
Yeah.
drinking what your ancestors drank.
Exactly.
That DNA is calling. That's what I always say.
Yeah.
Ah.
So I'm curious, how did you find out about Papa Vince?
So I did do a good amount of research on olive oils, and from what I remember, it was recommended to me somehow because I was Googling about olive oil and everything, and Papa Vince came up, and I just started reading the ad. I can't remember if it was just on a random website or what exactly, but
Okay,
there was a
interesting.
lot of information about it, and then I went to the website.
Got it. So then you didn't buy from Amazon initially. You bought from our website.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
That
So
is good.
then, have you tried our pasta or other products?
I have not tried the pasta yet. I have that ready to go for a special Sunday dinner.
Okay. Yeah, well, it's really good. So it's really unique. We're actually going back to the old way of doing it, like stone grinding it, because everything today is like steel milled.
Right.
So it's loaded with nutrition, and we're also using ancient grains. So
Yeah.
it's really cool. I think you'll like it because people rave about the taste.
I will email you both when I taste it.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Let us know.
Yeah. We're excited.
So do you remember what made you like decide to try our olive oil for the first time? Like, was there something like that drew you in? Um,
So I was initially just thinking, to myself, I want to find a good olive oil that's single origin, and they state that they don't use pesticides, and I come across your family operation, and I see that it's land that's been growing olives for years and years, and I'm like, yeah, this looks really good. It just
yeah,
kind of it encompassed everything that I was initially looking for, and I just knew it would taste great too. So
yeah. So what kinds of other olive oils had you used previously, and like how would you say it compared now to Papa Vince?
um, so I do like Partana olive oil,
Okay,
which is also Sicilian, but I think Papa Vince definitely has more of a earthy taste, but in a good way. Definitely has that peppery taste, and I really like that. It seems very authentic. And
yeah, that
Partana is not really quite that way. I mean, I've never really been suspicious of Partana, thinking that maybe they cut it with seed oils or anything like that, but it just I don't think it's as good quality as what you guys have for a product personally.
yeah. Well, that makes sense. I mean, we're actually we have it in the glass too, um, which is really important for olive oil, and that peppery
Yes.
kick really is a sign of the quality of it because that's the oleocanthal, which is a specific polyphenol. That's actually
Mhm.
the same thing you have in aspirin that is an anti-inflammatory pain reliever, and that really speaks to like the freshness of the olive oil. So peppery kick, you know what you're talking about. You've done some research, I can tell.
Yeah, and in the U.S. we have a lot of foods and processed foods that are very inflammatory in many ways. So having a good olive oil helps with that. And I mean, I try to avoid a lot of junk food in general, but I mean, bad ingredients are like in so many
Yeah.
FDA approved products here in the US. So
Yeah.
shopping becomes very selective.
It's a struggle. So, uh, can you describe like how you used Papa Vince for the first time?
Yeah. The first time I used it was on a salad. So
Okay.
I just cut up some cucumbers, peppers, tomato, had some feta cheese. It's kind of like my usual salad. I usually have chickpeas with that, and then I just dress that salad with olive oil usually. So I figured it was a good opportunity to try out the olive oil in a good amount, and then I added some lemon juice after tasting the olive oil alone. But it complemented that very well. And then also, I mean, with olive oil, you can kind of just put it a little bit in a glass and drink it too. That's a pretty good way to do
Yes,
it
you
as
can.
well.
It's excellent. Yeah.
Yeah. So I have done that as well.
Awesome. Yeah. So, what would you say you like? What was the thing that you enjoyed the most about the olive oil?
What I enjoyed most about it was it's the exact taste that I'm looking for. It's very potent. For sure it's olive oil, and just like knowing that it's a very high quality product. I'm not looking to cut corners when it comes to really anything that I ingest. Like
Yeah.
everything food related, that's not where I skimp. I'll save money elsewhere, but this stuff is pretty important. Health is. I would rather spend money on good food products than medical bills. I can tell you that much.
Thank you.
Exactly. That's one thing my mom always says.
That's exactly what I always say, I was going to ask, I mean, in the email, I got the impression that you really are very concerned about your health. And I
Yeah.
want to know, I mean, why you develop this awareness, because so many people just don't have this awareness. So I'm just curious.
Well, I feel like I've never really understood nutrition too well in my life up until this point. This is like, I've had like a lot of aha moments recently because I thought, you got to eat vegetables, you got to have produce and all that. And then I'll eat lean meats and stuff like that. That was kind of how I thought, but then I'd still eat a bunch of processed foods. And I didn't realize like certain ingredients we're just not supposed to be ingesting at all. Like I think of, bread. A lot of the bread in the US that's sold anywhere in supermarkets is enriched wheat flour, and that's how a lot of the pastas are too. And
Yes.
so I thought with ingredients you just had to look at like, oh, how much sugar is in this, and I knew like added sugar is really bad, so I was always looking at the added sugar, but I thought it kind of stopped there. you know
Yeah.
I didn't realize how much detail goes into it, all of it. And I had some blood tests done back in December of 2023, so not too long ago, and all the results weren't that great. It was kind of an eye opener. So I
Wow.
knew I had to make some changes, and I figured if I do it while I'm young still, I can just get into the groove of it all, and um, I thought I could turn things around quite a bit, and I feel like I have. I feel a lot better.
Wow. I'm
That's
happy you decided to do that. That's important. Like you say, you're young. I mean, how old are you now?
27.
Wow, you're really young. Giuseppe's just 28. So,
Yeah,
wow.
but then can you share any like specific health benefits or changes that you've noticed after like incorporating Papa Vince olive oil? I know you mentioned like inflammation and like metabolism in the email. Um,
Yeah.
so what like could you I guess just speak to that or like what you've noticed?
Um, well, one thing I've had some weight loss. I was definitely, I think it kind of goes in line with the inflammation. I was definitely had a lot of more fat on me, and uh, I mean, naturally my face is kind of puffy, but it was even puffier before, and I think that was inflammation as well. And
Mm-hmm.
the certain things that I was doing that was really working against me, and then also I had skin irritation and stuff that's pretty much gone away, which
Wow.
I didn't think that would happen. I thought that was just something I'd have to deal with, but
That's actually something that has to do with polyphenol called hydroxytyrosol.
yeah.
It's a polyphenol only found in olive oil. And there's a paper actually showing that our specific variety had really strong effects on skin health. And that same polyphenol is really anti-inflammatory, and it's been shown to boost metabolism. So we're actually writing a blog right now, publishing it here in a day or two, studying the studies about how hydroxytyrosol and olive oil has boost metabolism, and it's great for your liver health and your muscle health, which is also very important for your metabolism. So we'll definitely share that with you. So keep an eye out.
That's right. That's right. I mean, I know probably it's kind of early for you to say how much Papa Vince has helped you, because technically, I think you just bought it like 3 weeks ago. Am I right?
Yeah, 3 or 4 weeks
Yeah,
ago.
3 or 4 weeks. But I'm just telling you, I mean, for experience, I had clients that after consuming it for 6, 7 months, they were set free from arthritis.
I believe that.
And basically what they were doing, they were taking about 3 spoons daily.
Yeah.
So just, if you want to drink it straight, that's great. But if you don't, I mean, I tell my customers, just drizzle on your food.
Mhm.
It's so I mean, it's not only is healthy, but it just tastes so good. It's really effortless to do that. So
Yeah, it is.
mhm.
What would you guys say is your favorite use for olive oil? A favorite thing to have it with?
You go, Pepe. You go, Giuseppe.
I love to use it every time I eat pasta. Every time like I have a meal, I'll pour some at the end. I mean, even during like if I'm reheating something, I'll pan fry it.
Yeah.
But I also put it in my coffee every morning. That's kind of how
Oh,
I
yeah.
get my daily dose.
Mhm.
But
Yes.
yeah, I mean, to me, it just brings out the flavor, and I really feel like way more satiated, less hungry throughout the day too.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's one thing. I do the same thing. I put it on my coffee, and what it does is satiates me, and it gives me extra energy. I mean, I think it's funny, but it really does. And then I love it on my salads. I mean, if I have to say, that's my favorite place is on my salads.
Yeah.
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 Definitely belongs in the salad.
Yes, that's my favorite place. But I do the same thing my son says. I just drizzle, as in every food I have. I
Do you
like it.
both drink coffee black? Or
I
you have
do. Yeah.
espresso? Or,
I
Yeah.
do.
yeah,
I drink it without
I
sugar.
drink coffee black as well. I don't
Yeah.
add any sugar or anything like that, but I'm curious about adding olive oil now.
You will be surprised. It really tastes good. And the one I personally like to add, we have the lemon flavor, and I do
Mhm.
add the one with the lemon. I mean, lemon and coffee go really well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna try that out.
But if you just do the olive oil, it just, all you feel is that peppery kick at the end. And like I said,
Mhm.
the other reason I do it is because sometimes coffee can be like, if you have an empty stomach, can be just really uh, acidic. It just hits your
Mm.
stomach wrong. But if you put the olive oil, the olive oil is like a fat, and it just somehow, it doesn't hit your stomach as bad if that's the first thing you drink in the morning. That's
That
my other
makes sense.
experience.
Yeah.
Hmm. And then, like I said, it satiates you, so it kind of it keeps you from eating too much.
Yeah, that's a benefit.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. So I noticed in your email that you mentioned that you don't use olive oil for like high heat cooking. Could you like elaborate on that more and like why you think that olive oil isn't good for high heat?
I guess that's kind of, I've somewhat been programmed to believe that. Just I've seen like stuff about, it has such a, like a certain smoke point, so that it's better to use like coconut oil or avocado
Yeah.
oil for really high heat stuff. I'm sure you guys have seen things about that.
Yes, yes. So I understand that I understand your perspective, and really I'd love to share some information about that because extra virgin olive oil is not only safe for high heat cooking, it's really the best for high heat cooking. So there's this study out of Australia that we actually just wrote a blog on where they compared extra virgin olive oil to 10 other fats. So avocado oil, coconut oil, butter, all the seed oils.
Yeah.
And the results were really interesting because extra virgin olive oil turned out to be the best out of all of them when exposed to heat. So it's the healthiest thing you can cook with because of its high heat stability. It has the highest heat stability. So you've been programmed to think that it's all about the smoke point, but that's where everyone is going wrong. Like the seed oil corporations have gotten everyone fixated on the smoke point, but it's really about the heat stability. And that's a measure of how well an oil stays together and doesn't degrade under heat. So there are many studies now all agreeing that heat stability is actually what matters in terms of a cooking oil, not the smoke point. And the seed oil industry is just hammered in this idea of smoke points, but it's actually just what I like to call it, it's the smoke screen, like this whole concept of smoke point. So yeah.
Can you explain what you mean with heat stability?
So heat stability is essentially, anytime you heat an oil, no matter what it is, it starts degrading, and these things called polar compounds start being produced, and they're very inflammatory. So that's why you shouldn't, heat an oil for hours and hours on end. That's why, all oils degrade over time when heated.
So tell him how long it takes for a seed oil to be degraded in comparison with extra virgin olive oil.
Well, see, that's the thing in the study is they found out is that the seed oils degrade over time much faster when compared to the olive oil, and that's because they don't have a good heat stability. So even though they have like a high smoke point, technically, their heat stability is really low. And another thing when you think about smoke point is that extra virgin olive oil has a smoke point at around 410 degrees Fahrenheit, and that's well above any temperature you're ever going to cook at. So like even deep frying only reaches a temperature of about 360 degrees. So like this whole concept about smoke point is really not even relevant to like everyday cooking unless you're putting something like directly under a flame, right? So what does what does the heat stability really mean? It means it produces fewer toxic inflammatory compounds compared to oils that have technically higher smoke points like canola or vegetable oil, and even compared to ghee or butter, avocado oil. So like why is extra virgin olive oil more heat stable than all of these? And the secret is the antioxidants. So like I was mentioning, hydroxytyrosol is like a polyphenol antioxidant only found in olive oil. And that's really the secret to what gives olive oil its impressive heat stability. So these antioxidants protect the oil from breaking down when it's heated, and it prevents from these harmful substances, these polar compounds, from being created. So that's why it really is the best choice for your health when you're frying, sauteing, and any other thing that you're putting under heat. So that's my pitch. And what's really interesting, we also wrote a blog on how hydroxytyrosol, that polyphenol, there's another study showing how it prevents the oxidation of your food when you're frying. So when you fry food, like say you're sauteing your fish in your pan, the olive oil actually gets soaked up by the food, so the antioxidants get transferred into the food, And what's cool is that, you know, our extra virgin olive oil, we just got it lab tested, and it contains 3 times the amount of hydroxytyrosol than other normal varieties. So it really comes down to the uniqueness of our olive oil variety, which is Nocellara de Belice, you know, which is only grown in the Nocellara de Belice Valley, which is like outside of Palermo. So it's really unique olive oil for this specific polyphenol that's been shown to, you know, have these amazing benefits when you're frying food. So as someone with Italian roots, I think you might appreciate that Italians have been cooking with olive oil for thousands of years, and they've never paid attention to smoke points. And today, you know, you look at the life expectancy, and they have, you know, on average 10 years higher life expectancy than the rest of Europe. And they pour olive oil on everything, right? And they use it on everything, low heat, high heat. So we're going to be making more content around this topic in the near future, because we really feel like everyone has been programmed the wrong way. And we feel that, you know, people need to understand this to be able to make the best decisions for their health. And we really need to fight against this narrative that the seed oil industry has got, you know, stuck in everyone's head. So there's my pitch. So
yeah,
I
so
mean,
sick of seed oils, I can tell you that much. And Monsanto with soybean, wanting soybeans and all that. So very bad.
just in all of our food, it's sad.
it's sad.
Yeah,
Even
it's like waste, pretty much, that they just put in everything. They
yeah,
don't know what else to do with it.
And that's the thing. So the more you heat and the more you refine an oil, the higher the smoke point is. So just think about it logically. Like, you know, the more you process an oil, do you think that's going to be healthier for you? It's not. And, you know, what this study found was that the higher the smoke point was, the more polar compounds were created when heated after. And it makes sense, right? Because the more processed an oil, the more unhealthy it's going to be. It's only logical, right? Like,
Yeah, it does make sense.
Yeah.
Would you say in today's time, northern Italy still uses butter mostly, and then southern Italy usually cooks with olive oil?
that is a trend, yes. So
and it makes sense because there is no olive trees in the north.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's just logical.
there's some, but they also have more of the tradition of the Germanic traditions.
Yes.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's a different weather that, you know, the olive trees, they need like a dry desert type of weather, you know, which you're going to lose as you're getting close, you know, to the north.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, butter and ghee are pretty decent for cooking, but you got to do it in moderation nonetheless, because it's still pretty fattening if you were to have that all the time.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
But
So,
then the margarine.
but yeah, I mean, you know, that's another misconception that a lot of people have is, you know, olive oil is high in calories. You got to be afraid of it. But in a lot of these weight loss studies, you could see that even though, you know, these people were consuming more and more olive oil, they weren't gaining weight, right? Because it's a healthy thing full of antioxidants, and all those antioxidants boost your metabolism, you know?
Yeah, it's very healthy fat.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. And that's, you know, that's why you want to consume high quality, because of the antioxidants. And that's the peppery kick. The peppery kick is the presence of antioxidants. So the more antioxidants, the healthier it's actually for you.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like many things. If you're going to purchase something and, you know, it's something that you value, you might as well get the real thing. I don't understand the
Yeah.
reason to just get the fake version of something. So I know a lot of, unfortunately, it seems like a lot of like the big name so-called Italian olive oils that come in like plastic bottles, and you'll see those pretty easily at supermarkets. They're cut with seed oils, or, you know, there's just a lot of corners cut. It's not the product that you're meaning to buy.
Yeah, well, it's It's an industry that has dealt with that since Roman times. Like in ancient Roman times, they actually had like special stamps the Romans would put on their vessels that, this is actually real olive oil, So it's been an issue for a while. But yeah, I guess if you could go back in time, what would you tell your past self before discovering Papa Vince? Like how would you convince yourself to try us out?
I would pretty much, I would just kind of like what I've explained to you guys, like go back and I would have a whole list of things, if I could go back in time and change things in my life, oh man, it would be very lengthy. But when it comes to olive oil, it would be really, I guess, as simple as you're looking for a good olive oil, you're meaning to buy olive oil, so I've done the research for you. It's Papa Vince. This is the product you're looking for. Don't waste time buying this other crap.
Love it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So yeah, you have any other questions or anything you'd like to add about your experience with Papa Vince?
I'm going to try olive oil in my coffee tomorrow.
Okay. I love that. You're going to love it. It's going to give you more energy. I mean, it seems stupid, but it really does. Not only wakes you up, it really gives you more energy and it satiates you.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.